One of the earliest examples of Israelite style is actually in Genesis, the 37th chapter. And in that story, we learn about Joseph and his coat of many colours. So many of us grew up hearing about Joseph and his coat of many colours. Some of us may have gone to the theatre to see the story of Joseph and his coat of many colours. And that's one of the earliest examples of Israelites embracing style.
Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colours.
In that story, Jacob buys one of his sons, Joseph, a coat of many colours. And for me personally, it makes me think of African print, because when you think of where the Bible is set in Africa, and then you think of fabric with many colours of it in it, it's easy to think African print. African print is so bold and so vivid. It loves our melanin. It sets off our hair. Joseph would have been walking around looking dapper in his coat of many colours, his African print coat. Remember, there's nothing new under the sun, sisters. The Most High does not have a problem with us having beautiful clothes and feeling good in our clothes and embracing fabrics and style. He is a man of style. Look at the following scripture in Ezekiel 16:10, because this illustrates that the Most High understands style.
I clothed thee also with broidered work, and shod thee with badger's skin, and I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk.
You can hear me clearly, Rabbi. Let us have your name once more.
My name is Rabbi Yehuda ben Shomer.
Okay. Well, is it okay if we just call you Yehuda?
Yeah, that's
short
fine.
Today?
Okay, yeah, that's
great.
fine. No problem at all. I'll go on even further to say this, that the slave trade is actually connected to Deuteronomy 28, because the majority of the slaves that were brought to the Caribbean islands and brought to the Americas were Ibu people, were people of Hebrew and Hebraic Israelite descent, if you will. And so if you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, it matches perfectly what happened to the Hebrew slaves, the black Hebrew slaves, during the slave trade. It just matches it perfectly.
So you were saying that there's a great chance, or more so, that the black people that links directly to the slave trade are from the lost tribes of Israel. Is that what you're saying here, sir?
Yes, I am.
A treatise on physical geography, comprising hydrology, geognosy, geology, meteorology, botany, zoology, and anthropology, by A. Barrington. I want you to see that this was published in 1850. Again, get the older books. Remember, we have not been emancipated as of yet, so many of these writers had no fear about putting truths or secrets that they discovered in their books. Let's go over to page 297. Page 297. All right. Hope y'all can see this. Thus the Jews are a people who have ever, according to the prophecy, dwelt alone, without intermixing with the nations to this day. Now this separate race all descend from, see that word? Let me zoom in. Brown ancestors. Let me pull back. Now this separate race all descend from brown ancestors. For Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob must have been as dark as Mar Yohanan, if not darker, meaning dark skin. Exhibit every shade of color from the black Jews of Malabar. So letting you know that the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob exhibit all the shades of color from the black Jews of Malabar. Okay, meaning different shades of brown, from a very dark brown to a very light brown. Okay, let's jump down. here. The Spanish Jew is always dark complexion, and his hair is uniformly black. Okay? Then they go into the convert Jews. These German Jews with blue eyes, these are the converts. I didn't even underline that. The various shades of color observable among the Negro or African race tends to the same conclusion. What conclusion? Up here, that the Jews exhibit every shade of color from the black Jews of Malabar. Okay? The various shades of color observable among the Negro or African race tends to the same conclusion. Along the coast of Guinea, which is low, marshy, and hot, we find jet black complexion, and this is the very country from which American Negroes have been derived. You see this? Do y'all see this? Come on, somebody talk to me. Light and Truth, collected from the Bible and ancient and modern history, containing the universal history of the colored and the Indian race. This was published in 1844. 1844. Page 348. The prophet Noah. Noah, the son of Lamech, was a prophet of the antediluvian world. A knowledge of the deluge, was made known to him about 120 years before the flood. He was a just man and a faithful preacher of righteousness. He warned the people of their destruction by a flood. God commanded Noah to build the ark, or great ship, and Ham, a mighty man, helped to build the ark at God's command. The posterity of Noah, who inhabited the earth after the flood, were a colored people, and their language was Hebrew. See the historical books of the ancients. This language was originally given to man by his creator, and afterwards broken into a multitude of tongues at Babel. The Hebrew, it is almost certain, was the language of Adam and Eve, and it is certain their complexion was black.
In Crania Aegyptiaca, published in 1844, Morton pointed out that both cranial and archaeological evidence showed that the Egyptians were not Negroes. In 1840, Dr. Morton was trying to find out the racial origin of the so-called Negroes that were in America in slavery. So he got together with the Egyptologists, which supplied him with the mummy heads, and what he did was conduct an extensive research on the cranial remains of the heads in Egypt, in contrast to the cranial remains of the heads in America. And what he found out is that the Negroes that were in slavery were not Africans. He found out that the skulls were two totally different types of skulls. The Negro's head was longer than the Egyptian head. The physical characteristics from the outside look similar, with the thick lips and the broad nose. But once you start delving into the real characteristics, he found out that there were two totally different people, as abolitionists and colonizationists had maintained, and that in fact, blacks had been relegated to the same servile position in ancient Egypt as in modern America. But what Dr. Morton did discover is that the Negroes that were serving slavery in America served the same position and servitude in ancient Egypt when they matched other skulls and other cranial remains in Egypt. They said these are exact matches. So what are the scholars saying? What you're going to find out is that they're saying that you are the biblical Israelites. Yes, you're the same exact people that served slavery in the land of Egypt. You're the same exact people that God sent Moses to go redeem under the hand of Pharaoh. You're the same exact people.
In the 8th century, Khazaria, which was greatly made up of the Turkish mixed people known as Khazars, converted to their national religion of Judaism, which was based on the Babylonian Talmud. He states in his book that the Khazar Empire, which in the Dark Ages became converted to Judaism, Khazaria was finally destroyed by Genghis Khan and his Mongol hordes, but evidence indicates that the Khazars themselves migrated to Poland and formed a Western Jewish community. They eventually migrated to other places like Germany and Russia.
Christian churches and the general public have been deceived. Many Jewish historians are now admitting that they are not the true Hebrews of the Bible. And how can they be returning to the land of Israel when they were never there to begin with? This is why Jamal Abdul Nasser, the former president of the United Arab Republic, said in 1956 that he could not respect the Jews because they left Israel black and came back white.